Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Today is the 100th episode of Editorial. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for viewing my editorial. Thank you so much for commenting on my editorial. Thank you so much for all the likes and at times dislikes that you have showered me with. Thank you so much. I'm truly obliged. As usual, let's get into 3 interesting stories for today. The first story is a synopsis of what Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi spoke in the Central Hall just 2 days back. Also, what he spoke in the same Central Hall right after his win in 2014. So let's just look at the synopsis of both the speech and what the difference was. 2. Criminal cases against MPs. This time around, we have seen an increase of criminal cases against MPs than what it was in 2014. The third point that I want to discuss with you is Rahul Gandhi, I think, has made up his mind to resign. Is it good for Congress? If Rahul Gandhi goes, who could possibly take over the reins of Congress? That will be my last point. Let's get right into this editorial. Prime Minister-elect Mr. Narendra Modi spoke in the Central Hall. He spoke brilliantly. He spoke for almost 1 hour, 20 minutes. Amongst a lot of things that he said, I will like to highlight some very important aspect of his speech. Just after that, I will also take you through what he had spoken in the same place in 2014. So let's get on to what he spoke day before yesterday. One of the things that he said, and he said very emphatically, is that this win, it was not about wave or anything. It was a pro-incumbency wave. He says, you normally are used to anti-incumbency. This is pro-incumbency because he and his government did a fabulous job in 2014 through 2019. So he said, all that you see is a pro-incumbency wave. This is the first thing he said. And he also emphasized quite emphatically that it's not about Modi wave. There's no Modi wave and one should not believe Modi wave. He says don't get too arrogant. Don't think that you won because of what you were or you won even because of Modi wave. He said you won because the poor voted you in and that's why you won. The poor of India stood by you and that's exactly why you won. So he said, listen, it is the mandate of India. It is because of the voters that you won. So don't take any credit for it for yourselves. And he also said that in the same breath, he said from 2014 through 2019, he worked for the poor. The government worked for the poor. And this time around, the poor ensured that they made the government happen. He acknowledged the fact that his biggest supporters were women. He said maximum amount of women came out to vote this time. And that vote were all pro him, pro BJP, pro NDA. And that really got him to where he is today. He said that he is committed to ensure that there are more and more women representation in the parliament. This time around, Narendra Modi seems to be owning the NDA. NDA seems to be the new BJP. I'll try and tell you what I mean by this. The Prime Minister-elect came with a new term and it was called NARA. What he meant by NARA is national ambition and regional aspiration. He said, from what I understand, he said you have to keep these two separately. Both is necessary. Both is necessary for the development of the country, but it has to be kept separate. There has to be a national ambition, which is the most important thing, which is what the center does. And the state regional leadership should not be disturbing the national ambitions. National ambition should be run simultaneously. National ambition should be run parallelly. They should have regional aspirations because regional aspiration is necessary for growth, but that should not disturb the national ambition. He technically with that speech made all the regional leaders literally irrelevant. So what he told his MPs is now you guys are supposed to look at national ambitions. Let the regional parties in the region look at regional aspirations. I thought that was a good statement. So, in saying this, he owned NDA and he said, I am your boss. Aap koi regional boss was Rendo. I am your boss. Good statement. Somewhere down the line, Modi realized one thing. That while the people went out of their way to vote for Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister, possibly because they found him the best alternative as a Prime Minister and they voted him. But he also realized that regional power samikaran or regional power structure would be different. Chances are, like what we saw in Odisha, like what we saw in Andhra Pradesh, like what we saw in Tamil Nadu, regional parties may hold very, very high impact in the regions, in the states. I think he realized it. And I think he is also working towards the fact that BJP will now be used to sitting in the center. Because like I said in my last editorial, at least for the next 5 years, next 10 years, one doesn't see any opposition in the horizon. So he is actually setting his foundation to sit in the center and running the show in the center as the head of one party called NDA. I'm not calling it a group anymore. So NDA works differently in the center and regional parties work differently in the state. So NARA, as he said, national ambition and regional aspiration. He spoke about motormouths. Okay, he said, yeah, you know what, Mike dekhta and you guys get very excited, very charged and you say anything you want. So that, you become national heroes and ultimately that causes problem for us. He says more problems were caused by motormouths than with actual administrative problems. So he says, please refrain from that. Another point he made, possibly answering, it was an answer, it was a hint to people like Maneka Gandhi. He said, listen, you can't discriminate between voters. There are only two kinds of voters. One who voted for us and the second who are potential voters for us. So he said, the entire country is one. I'm sure it was meant for Maneka Gandhi, who had said that, who doesn't vote for us, Muslims who don't vote for us, we will not do your work also. He said, no. He said, nothing doing. He said, no discrimination. You can't discriminate. You have to work for each and every individual. Interestingly, he also referred to Mahatma Gandhi, along with, of course, Ram Manohar Lohia and Deen Dayal Upadhyay. He also mentioned Mahatma Gandhi. He said, whenever you are in confusion, whenever you are confused or whenever you want answers, go to that last common denominator. Think about that last common denominator in our country and see how you can serve him and you will get your answers. What a beautiful statement Mahatma Gandhi had made. He mentioned that and I was surprised. He was mentioning that in the same room where we had Pragya Singh Thakur sitting there as a newly elected MP. He said that minorities were always used in India. Minorities were used as vote banks. And they were always told that, listen, you don't vote for X or you vote for Y, the chances are you will be hurt. If you don't vote for X, Y will come in and they will hurt you. They will physically hurt you, they will emotionally hurt you, they will financially hurt you. He told his MPs that now we have to ensure that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas ke saath we should talk about Sabka Vishwas. In 2014, he said that the verdict given to him by the people, 282 then, the verdict given to him by the people were verdict of hope. This time, he called it pro-incumbency, then he called it a verdict of hope. This time, he told his people, listen, the reason you won is because the people of India voted for you. Don't think that it is your victory. Last time, he said no. Last time, in 2014, he said it's 5 generations of people, their sacrifices of the party and the organization that made you what you are. He dedicated the victory then to the 5 generations of the party and the party leaders. A very interesting thing he had said in 2014, which I thought I found amiss between 2014 and 2019 is, I quote, and he said, every government, right from their independence to now, has contributed to the growth of the country. What he technically said, it is not that Congress has not contributed. It is not that the earlier BJP government has not contributed. It is not that the third front has not contributed. Every government that governed this country after independence has contributed to the growth of the country, which I found the narratives changed after 2014, 2015, because there he thought that, everything that went wrong was done by the Congress government. He also, in the same breath, said that the leaders who served the country also contributed to the country. That was not what we heard recently, especially just before the elections. So that's one thing where there's a slight discrepancy in what he said. So we saw two different prime ministers. We saw a very, very confident prime minister in 2019, a prime minister who has completely taken charge in 2019 versus a prime minister who had a lot of aspirations, who has a lot of enthusiasm, and a tired prime minister in 2014. My two bits in this: people have given him the mandate. People have given Narendra Modi the mandate. He won almost 22 crore votes, plus minus. I think it's only fair to now trust him and back him. And let us see what happens. Wherever he is wrong, we will still call it. But I think we should give him a fair chance and allow him to do what he wants to do. In the meantime, let me also tell a lot of people who are, all of a sudden, very, very vocal, very, says that, that's end of Congress over, finito, all that. You see, 12 crore of Indian citizens voted for Congress. So, it is not that, anything is over, anything is down, anything is up. This is democracy. This is politics. Up and down happens. So, with that, I think I'm looking forward to seeing our Prime Minister function. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and what he doesn't. I'm looking forward to seeing how much of what he said day before yesterday he actually puts into action. And I'll be thrilled. Like I said, I'll be thrilled if the first thing he does is get people like Pragya Singh Thakur out of that Parliament House. She doesn't belong there. The second topic that we wanted to talk to you about quickly are the numbers of MPs and the criminal cases against them. Now, just to give you a figure, in 2009, 30% of MPs who went into the parliament had criminal cases against them, out of which 14% had serious criminal cases. In 2014, 34% of the MPs who entered the parliament had criminal cases, out of which 21% had serious criminal charges. So from 14%, it increased to 21%. In 2019, 43% of the MPs who entered into parliament had criminal charges. 43%, almost half of the MPs who came into this parliament had criminal charges, and out of which 29%, that is 29% is almost one third of the people who entered into this parliament has criminal charges, serious criminal charges against them. Is this good for our nation? You decide. It seems Rahul Gandhi is very serious about his resignation. Rahul Gandhi is very serious that a Nehru-Gandhi family member should not be heading Congress anymore. Not anymore, at least for now. I have 2 points on this. Point number one, like I told you in my last editorial, I still maintain, I don't think Rahul Gandhi should be taking all the blame for whatever went wrong. And I wonder how people can just blame one person for the debacle of an entire party. Like I said that day, what was Gehlot doing? What was Kamal Nath doing? What was Ashok Chavan doing? I didn't see anybody around him. So Why should he take the blame for everything? This party doesn't belong to him. At least that is what we are all saying, aren't we? So, I found it very surprising that, everybody is out to get Rahul's head. Again, is he responsible for the party's loss? Of course he is responsible for the party's loss. So, the fact that he says, I don't want to be a president anymore, theek hai. To that extent, it is fine. That said, if not Rahul Gandhi, who? The fact that Rahul Gandhi believes that, the Gandhi Parivar, the Nehru Gandhi Parivar should keep off from Congress presidency, I think is not a bad idea. It ushers in a new era to Congress. In fact, not a new era. I mean, I'm sorry, that was wrong. Because, you see, it is not that Congress always belonged to the Nehru-Gandhi Parivar. 1947, J.B. Kripalani was the president. 1948-49, Pattambi Sitaramaiah was the president. 1950, Purushottam Das Tandon was the president. 1954, Jawaharlal Nehru was the president. 1955 to 59, UN Debar was the president. 1959 to almost 1984, with gaps in middle, Indira Gandhi was the president. 1960 to 63, Sanjeeva Neelam Reddy was president. 1964-67, Kamaraj was president. Jagjeevan Ram was the president. Shankar Dayar was the president. Devanka Barua was the president. Rajiv Gandhi was the president. Again, one more Gandhi. Then there is P.V. Narasimha Rao was the president. Sitaram Kesari was the president. So there has been a lot of Congress presidents, and Congress was doing well in those times too. So it is not that if there is no Gandhi, Congress will diminish. Congress will finish off. What more can happen anyways? But I think, yeah, it's a great idea if there's a new non-Gandhi president coming in and taking over charges. It gives a new definition to Congress. The entire dynasty thing goes away. Others who also wanted to push their own dynasty, even that's a lesson for them. That, dynasty politics does not work in India anymore. So good on two counts. But what is going to happen is who? There's a school of thought which says that, Congress after 1977, they started from south. Chikmagalur is where Mrs. Gandhi stood and she won. And again, the resurrection of Congress. This time also, whatever little backing, support that Congress got from the south. So, should it be looking south now? So, maybe a Shashi Tharoor coming as a president. Or a Sachin Pilot. These are the two names I think people are talking about. My two-bit? I think the person who should be the next president of Congress should be the person who comes from an area of strength. Not rising out of defeat, but rising out of a win. And that person is Captain Amarendra Singh. He's been winning elections after elections. Single-handedly he has stood by. He has made Congress happen. Fantastic administrator, I am told. A retired Air Force officer. Possibly a good choice. Secondly, he is tremendously motivated because he has seen victory. But like I said before, I maintain it again. Rahul Gandhi, asking for Rahul Gandhi's resignation because of whatever happened, unfair. If Rahul Gandhi wished to resign, I think, yeah, it will be I think it is not a bad idea. So, till we meet next, Namaskar.